My name is Brandon Handy, and this is the story of my mission team's journey to Yauyos, Peru. We're going there to share the gospel through a method called storying. As the story progresses, I will introduce both my team and the people who we will meet along the way. But first, let's meet Austin.
Okay, so don't mean to just start without you. Well, today we finished our second day of training with the missionaries here in Lima. And we just learned more about storying and about the culture of Yauyos.
Where did we just eat?
We ate at Chili's here in Lima.
And what are we doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow we head off to Yauyos at 8 in the morning.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But before we headed off, we needed to make some last-second preparation. In order to have clean water while in Yauyos, we have to use filtered water bottles. To prepare these bottles, you have to squeeze all the water out of the small filter inside. And this process is very difficult. It's completely filtered right there. Ready to drink. I won't drink it because, you know. Now that we're ready to go, we head out tomorrow. From now on, I will tell all the events as they happen. We believe and trust that God is going to move. So let the journey begin. I believe everyone is born an oral learner. Think about it. Adults and children alike, they love stories. We want to tell friends when things happen that are fun, amazing, or interesting. We share stories of the good and the bad. These stories make up our lives. In North America, we rely heavily on literacy and reading to spread the gospel. When we give people a Bible, they can usually read it. However, around the world and in Peru, a lot of people cannot read. And even if they could read, they would not be able to understand a lot of it. By the end of this video, I want to convince you that storying is one of the best ways to disciple people. But here's the thing, you're going to need to listen closely to everything I say from now on. But it'll be fun. It'll be like a story. Before we go any farther, let's meet Taylor. She is one of the sweetest, smartest, hardest working people you will ever meet.
I know all the tricks of this trade.
Okay, so you just arrived in Yauyos, Peru. How do you feel?
I'm completely overwhelmed. That trip was simultaneously the most breathtaking and terrifying experience of my life.
Wow.
But I'm so excited to meet all these people though and see what God has in store for Yauyos.
Great. Sweet.
Is that?
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Now that we've arrived in Yauyos, we start storying with people tomorrow. By learning stories from the Bible and telling them to the people, a reproducible form of discipleship is created. Storying. For them, the story of God becomes more than words on a page. It becomes real. And when they learn God's stories, they no longer have to depend on us. The church can multiply. Our goal is to create simple churches, or house churches. The simple church is a body of believers that are non-dependent, native, and reproducible. So now let's meet Skylar. She's also one of the sweetest, friendliest, and most passionate people you'll ever meet. She has a really big heart for Peru.
Am I supposed to look at Austin or look at the camera?
You can look at the camera if you want.
Today we did a house church service, which pertains to leading worship songs, and we had a time of prayer, and then we do a proclamation of the word, which is through storying, and then we all practice learning it, and then we are challenged to tell somebody that we know that story.
Sweet. And like who trained us how to do that?
The IMB missionaries, Brian Pennington and Brett. I don't know.
Yeah, Brett. I think his name's
Brett.
Brett something, yeah. And like, do you feel prepared to do house church at like Peru now? In Yauyos, I guess?
Well, yes, because it's just of yourself. Well, I mean, of course, Christ is in it.
Yeah.
But it's things that you can do. You don't need instruments. You can just sing with everybody. When you know the stories, you just tell them, and then everybody's able to memorize them and work through that too.
Before coming on this trip, most of us had no idea how to story, how to do simple church, or really what we were doing at all. But through the training and teaching of the IMB missionaries and Arturo, our translator, we've learned all of these things and so much more. So now let's meet Mallory. She's a very quiet yet strong-hearted, sweet, and very valuable member of our team. Sweet. So Mal, here, just get over just a little more. There you go. A little more to the left. Sorry, to your right, to your right, to your right. Okay, so Mallory, why did you come to Yauyos? Why did you feel called to be here?
Well, I felt called to foreign missions about 2 years ago, and then just through you and Skylar, God gave me this opportunity, and I prayed about it, and He just provided for it, and so that's how I got here.
Sweet. And how do you story? What is storing? How do you do that?
Well, basically, you just build a relationship with people, and through conversations you have with them, whatever you're discussing or whatever situations come up, just whatever Bible story comes to mind, you tell it to them as best you can. And then if you can't remember it too well, you can go back and study and always make another appointment with them.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, thanks. When storying from the Bible, you tell the story, and then you want the people to know 3 things. What does it say? What does it mean? And how can we apply it to our lives? And you can split these up into smaller questions. For example, this is the story of the demon-possessed man. News about Jesus spread far and wide, and many people came to see him for themselves, and many chose to follow him. And Jesus called out 12 men that he taught and with whom he traveled, and they became his closest followers. One day, Jesus and his closest followers got into a boat and went to the other side of the lake. And when Jesus was climbing out of the boat, a man possessed by an evil spirit ran out to meet him. Now when people tried to bound this man with chains, he would break them every time. And all throughout the day and the night he would scream and wander throughout the tombs and cut himself with rocks, and no one could hold him down. And he ran out while Jesus was still far away off, and he ran out and fell at Jesus' feet and exclaimed, "Why do you bother me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? For God's sake, do not torment me." And now Jesus had already asked the evil spirit to come out of the man. And then Jesus asked, "What is your name?" And the man said, "Many, because there are many of us in this man." And the evil spirits begged Jesus not to send them to some faraway place. Now there was about a large sum of pigs on the hillside nearby, and so the evil spirits begged Jesus to send them into the pigs. So Jesus gave them permission, and the evil spirits went into the pigs, and the pigs ran down the hillside and plunged into the lake, where they drowned, and there was about 2,000 of them. Now the people who were guarding the pigs, when they saw what happened, they went to the town and the nearby countryside and told everyone what happened. And so the people who heard what happened came out to see Jesus. Now a great crowd was accompanying around Jesus, and they were frightened because they saw the man who was once possessed by an evil demon sitting at Jesus' feet, clothed and in his right mind. And the people who had seen what happened to the man and what happened to the pigs told the people what they had seen. And so the people begged Jesus to leave. And so as Jesus was leaving, the man who was once possessed by the evil spirit asked Jesus if he could go with him. He begged him. And Jesus said, "No. Go to your friends, go to your home and tell them of the good things that God has done for you and the mercy he's had on you." So the man went throughout the 10 surrounding cities and told of all the good things that Jesus had done for him, and the people were amazed. After a few days, Arturo and Teresa, our leaders, headed out. They trained us, and Arturo will be returning at the end of the trip. A couple of days later, we went up the mountain to help a lady named Dahlia. We got to serve her and tell her some stories. She's a very staunch Catholic and a religion teacher, so she was very firm in what she believed. We got to share with her a lot, but she was just not open to anything besides what she believed. It was really easy to get discouraged, but we had to realize that only God can open hearts to the gospel. And we learned that we needed to pray and not be discouraged if He saves someone or not. I cannot show any videos of her, but we have some videos of what happened while we were there.
Hey, buddy.
Well, cow's staring us down. It's nice. And it's bringing all its mosquito friends near.
Soon, something happened. Our adult leader, Stacy, got sick.
All this pain, I wonder if I'll ever.
So right now, our team adult, Stacy, Skylar's mom, is very sick with some sort of parasite, and she's leaving tomorrow morning for Lima so they can take care of her. And we have to make the decision to stay here in Yauyos or go back to Lima. And it's really difficult trying to make the decision because we just don't know what the Lord's will is on this. I feel like the Lord is telling us to stay here and that we need to walk by faith and not by sight, because circumstances, I mean, they can take a turn for the worse, but we need to stand strong and discern the Lord's will. So I don't really know what's going to happen. We may not even have a choice to stay. We may have to go back to Lima. But it's just going to take a lot of prayer and a lot of trust in God to know what to do. Skylar and Stacy ended up leaving that night on the bus, and Stacy ended up going back to the States so that she could get well. We ended up deciding to stay, and good thing we did, because God definitely had something for us in Yauyos. Near the beginning of the trip, we continued every day to talk with a lady who I will show a little bit of video of, but to protect her identity we will call her Nina. She is probably my favorite to meet with because she always wants to hear more and more stories from the Bible. And when we would ask her questions about the stories, she would always respond with really insightful answers. She didn't just say church answers, but she was discovering deep biblical truth for herself. We were also able to help Nina in various ways throughout our time in Yauyos. We scared parrots from her field and helped her harvest beans, corn, and pumpkins. Through these times with her, we were able to share many stories. She was always so excited to see us and hear Bible stories, and it was cool seeing her grow week by week. On our way to Nina's, we found a lot of trash, and people would burn trash all over the town. Sometimes the fires got a little out of control, but most of the time, they were okay. A couple days later, we helped Dahlia lead her cows to water, and up to her field. She said that she would take a shortcut back down to town, but the shortcut back turned out to have a 90-degree drop that we had to rappel down. One thing we learned, never take shortcuts. Never. One of the biggest challenges we faced was the language barrier, but luckily we always had at least one interpreter with us at all times. Isaac didn't really like the camera.
Brandon.
Or else.
Brandon.
What?
If I run away, would you be able to be with me forever? No.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, Isaac.
No.
The guy interpreter, Isaac, wouldn't do an interview face-to-face. Isaac did a great job as an interpreter, and I'm really glad he came with us. Also, Karen, who was the girls' interpreter, did a fantastic job translating for all of us.
What do I say? What do I do?
You have to sing.
Just be like, yo.
Alright.
So if you want to give me 50,
Just be like,
put that,
yo,
I can
my name's
include mine,
Karen.
give me 50.
I'm a rapper.
Travel.
That's how we're going to say
Name's Karen.
Okay, so Karen, what is your name?
My name is Karen
And why do you interpret?
because well, I felt called to the missions when I was in Cajamarca. I left 2 years there with my family, and I knew that I was supposed to be with my people of the mountains. And now that I think I found a way to do it by translating with some other Peruvians. And I think I'm a translator because I'm a bridge between you guys and my people. And that's a way to serve also.
Sweet, thanks.
You're welcome.
Getting alone every day to pray and read God's Word has become of utmost importance. Not merely to talk to God, but we need to draw near to listen. Discerning the Lord's will is so important, and it's very easy to get distracted and to do our own will instead of His. Everything is for Christ, not us. One thing we learned was that we weren't following someone else's leadership. We were the missionaries. We had to make the decisions. We had to discern the Lord's will for ourselves. We weren't able to just piggyback on other people's decisions. And it's hard, but we realized our deep need for the helper. So Austin and I wanted to have a little fun, so we tried to cross a tree bridge. And Austin falls and touchdown. During this time, Arturo and Brian brought Skylar back and came to encourage us. Sweet, thank you. With part of the new team, we got to go on a fishing trip with a guy named David. It was probably one of the most beautiful trips I've ever been on. David crafted some fishing poles from bamboo that we found along the way. While we were going down the mountain with David, he went off the road and took hornets' nests from tiny cracks in the rocks, and we used the baby hornets as bait for the fish. The mountains were so beautiful. It was like they were exclaiming the glory of God. This was one video from the path we took.
And about your furthest through the mountain. Got the wind.
Amazing. And when we got down, the water was so blue and beautiful. It was by far the best fishing trip I've ever been on, and it opened up so many opportunities for stories from the Bible. We ended up catching many fish. After everything, I guess you could say we were fishing for men rather than fish. So it's been 6 weeks and we have to leave, but we learned a lot. In the end, we learned that missions is not just about God bringing people to life, but missions requires death. Death to self, death to personal desire, death to trying on our own. Following Christ is harder than anything in this world, but it's worth it. It's worth the fight because Jesus is worth the fight. And we don't have to live like missions is only in a foreign country. Missions happens wherever you are. In the family, neighborhoods, work, school, everywhere. So let's not waste another moment. Go. News about Jesus spread far and wide. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. News about Jesus. Hey, can we do it one more time? Yeah. That guy. No, this one's different. Everyone smile. Yeah, it's actually a video.